Laurel, you were how old when John, the man that you were married to, your husband, died?
43.
And I know that it was quite a journey in many ways, as it is a journey for anyone who loves someone and they're going through a process of some kind of illness before they pass. And you had spoken and written in Intuitive Dreaming about some of the experiences that you had. You've also written a book called Karmic Healing that actually goes deeper into it. But I was struck by the fact that you remembered you had a dream where John died. And this is when he was ill, but he was not gone yet. He hadn't passed yet. And I wondered if you would share that dream, because I think it's something that happens with a lot of people. And the way that you responded to it, the insight you had, is what I really want us to explore. But what was the dream itself?
It was very interesting. John and I, during our marriage, many times were in different cities because of where we were both working. And this was a night that we were together, and the dream was right before the morning, and it was a simple dream that he died. What was really compelling to me about it is that the feeling in the dream was not sad or distressed. There was this great feeling of peace, a feeling of exhilaration. It was like a very deep calm, kind of like the best meditations that I've experienced. And I woke up and it felt so real that I thought that I was going to find out that John was actually dead in bed next to me, especially because his father died when he was a teenager, and he died in bed next to his mother, and I'd heard that story before. So I woke up and John was alive. And so then I was faced with the question, do I tell him? Because I've had enough experience with dreams and I know enough about dreams to know that sometimes they can be precognitive, and the fact that the quality of the dream felt like an actual experience, that I thought I probably owed it to him to tell him I had had this dream, but I didn't want to trouble him. So anyway, I lay there in bed for a while and finally decided I would tell him. And he wasn't upset about it. He just listened and he said, wow, that's kind of interesting. And then what happened is that I left to go to work. He had fairly recently had a surgery. He was on dialysis for kidney failure, and he had had a surgery that they had inserted a graft in his arm. And I was at work, and all of a sudden I just felt this very strong urge that I had to call him. So I got up from what I was doing, I called him, and when he answered the phone, his voice sounded really kind of strange, and he said, I'm glad you called. I was just about to call you. I think I'm bleeding. And part of what was kind of troubling is he had become blind by that point, and so he couldn't really see what was going on. So I left and I went home and I walked into the house, and as I opened the door, he said, I don't want to alarm you. I think there's a lot of blood in here. And I do tell the whole story in this book, Karmic Healing. What had happened is that there was an artery that burst in his arm, and there was blood everywhere. And the whole day, we called paramedics. He went to actually 3 different emergency rooms in 2 different cities. And throughout the day, as I was not really doing anything other than being with him and being a presence there, that dream kind of kept coming back into my mind, and I wondered, is this the day that he's going to die? Mm-hmm. And finally, at about midnight, he went into surgery, and I called you to tell you what was going on, and I told you about the dream, and you asked me if I'd called his mother, which I hadn't even thought about with everything that I was dealing with during the day. So we were in Missouri. I called her. She was in Arizona. She said, should I get on a plane and fly there? And I said, I don't know. I told her about the dream, and what she did was to get on the phone and call all of John's brothers and sisters, all of her sisters and brother, people in the church that she belonged to, and she asked them to pray for him. She's a very kind Christian woman, and so there were people all over the United States who were praying for him. And he actually came through the surgery wonderfully. The surgeon said he was amazed at how well he came through it. So I don't know this, but I believe that by responding to the dream, by telling you, by following your guidance to call his mother, by her asking all of these people to pray for him, that probably saved his life that day.